the Vagabond build. Here's where we're starting this baby. You know the installation's done, the rattle trap is done. Dave and Irene did that while I was busy working on 01. They're a big help on this project. So here's where we're at now. We glued down 1-inch tubing. This is 1-inch hollow aluminum tubing. We glued that directly to the van floor with a product called PL Marine. It's made by Loctite. And we did a test. We compared it to the 3M 5200, which is the gold standard. My concern with 5200 is it takes a long time to set up and cure, days upon days. The PL Marine, 24 hours, we're set and ready to go. So we did a test 24 hours later. I set both of them up. We banged them with heavy hammers. PL did pretty well, did really well. We beat the crap out of both of them, and it took a long while to come loose. So we went with the PL because it's quicker to dry. So we glued these babies down. We put 1-inch foam board in between each of them. This has an R value of 6.5. We made it nice and tight, airtight, but we do have airflow underneath this floor system because of the ribs in the floor, and that's deliberate. I think that airflow is a big component in insulating a van. That's my opinion. So now the next thing we're doing is we're laying down our subfloors, and Dave and Irene were outside sanding this because we're going to keep this garage area natural. It's going to be all natural plywood and Luan, and we'll polyurethane the whole thing. And they've been scouring the globe to try to find low or no VOC polyurethane. And believe it or not, they found a natural product that has no VOC. So we're waiting on Amazon to deliver that. Bezos, get us that poly. I'm back, baby! Yeah, I'm back. So van 1 is in her new home, far, far away. I learned a lot of things on that first build. The order in which things need to be installed in the van. Several times I would install something only to realize at a later date it had to come out because I'd put something else in first. And once you get that idea, once you have that little premise in your head, it's much easier to see the order of things. When I walked into this van for the first time empty, it was like the Matrix. I could just see where everything was going to go and how it was going to mount. We're starting in the back because it's the most complex, difficult area of the van. These guys are super outdoorsy people, and so they need to get a lot of outdoor stuff in their van. They live in this van full time. So we've talked about these bridges. These things are locked down. This bridge is for the electrics. We're going to have our big battery, 600 amp hour lithium battery from Lithionics, sold through Xantrex, UL listed, the only one. Inverter, solar charger. The battery gets mounted over the heavy duty truss system I put in place. The inverter and the solar controller are mounted down at this end, and the reason for that ordering is twofold. The inverter and the solar controller are items that may need service or attention more frequently than the battery, so we buried the battery deeper. The other reason is we wanted the lighter components out here in the back so that we wouldn't have to build a big heavy-duty truss system under the bridge. We left this open. This can easily support a 75-pound inverter. But so now you've got this cavernous storage box down here, and you can access it from both sides. That was a big deal. Very big point is access for storage. You don't want to have to move something to get to something. Everything needs to have a dedicated place. I'm going to beat that 80-20 horse one more time. This leg was out here, right at the end of the bridge, and I was mounting my drawer rail to it, my drawer slide. And Dave said, you know, if we were to just move that over, I could get a mountain bike and or a road bike in there. I need that extra width for the bottom brackets, varying in width. Okay, no problem. Loosen 2 bolts, spin it around on its mount, tighten it back down. I did have to fashion a new support for this bracket, but it was not a big deal. This would have been a nearly impossible change to make if you had welded the frame together or it was a plywood box construction. Plywood, of course, you could cut it, but now what? Now you got a notch cut out. Looks like something the Little Rascals built. That little bridge over here, this little baby is for the water side. So we're going to have a water heater, a tank. We're going to have our own closed glycol system that we pump up front just to pull the heat from the engine. But we're not sending engine glycol all the way back here. We have our own closed system that we're building. So that'll be nice. When they're driving, they're making hot water as well as charging the battery with the alternator and the solar. So when they get to their destination and they're staying a night or two, they've already got a day and a half's worth of hot water ready to go for free because they drove it in anyway. This is another nice big storage area. And we left this full height. We're trying to be very sensitive to storage. Here are the bikes. These are bike trays. These are going to hold bicycles. And when you take, these are 4-foot trays. When you put the bike on, it's going to lock in place, fork locks, down tube lock, and you slide it away. The tolerances are so tight. They're so tight. But there was a reason for all that. We had to create a balance. We had to strike a balance with the height of this bed. Okay, you got to realize you can't simply raise this up in order to make more room for the seat post because you're going to affect something else. It's like that butterfly theory, right? We had to also be sensitive to the height of this bed. You're going to have your plywood, and you're going to have a 6-inch foam mattress. Okay, we have to concern ourselves with getting in and out of this elevated bed. You want to hit your head on the ceiling. How low are we bringing the ceiling? How much insulation do we want up there? It's a balancing act. You got to take all of these components into account when you're building this thing. And I'm talking, we're playing with 1/8 of an inch here to make this all work. That's the point we got to. This is a double-tiered storage bay for stuff. Now these are most likely going to get boxed so that the stuff doesn't fall out. This one though, these are 250-pound drawer slides. Or are they I think these are 500s, 500-pound a piece. But what we've got here is with this 3-footer pulled all the way out, this one pulled out partially, we're going to have to put a brake on it. But now you've got a set of stairs to get up to the roof. Storage box, clean your solar panels, deploy the kayak, whatever it is you need to do, you're able to do it. Irene and Dave, they're the Vagabondians. They did a beautiful job on this plywood. This is their bed top platform for their mattress. And so I cut my notches, I cut it to size, and then Dave and Irene went in and they drilled out all these holes and they rounded them off. They routed off both sides. Beautiful. Then they put a nice coat of poly on it. They did a really nice job. These are the kind of details that add up when you're doing a high quality fine van build. Another consideration we had while we were building everything back there was how is it going to relate and terminate into what I'm calling our bulkheads. Because here, right on this line, this vertical line, this is the refrigerator box, okay? And then on the other side of the van, we will have the other side of the bulkhead, which will terminate just past countertop. We've got spice cabinets. We've got upper cupboards to put in here. So these transitions, this transition from the bedroom to the galley living area also had to be considered while we were building back there, and the height, and where is this going to end, and how do we cut the mattress? I think they told you in one of their videos that we actually left room inside the mattress, the bed box. We left room inside the bed box for them to be able to tuck their sheets and comforters under the mattress. Finger room or hand room, if you will, to get in there and make the beds easily. In certain vans, in many vans, it's a struggle to make the bed. They just don't take that move into consideration, and it's part of your daily routine. So it's important. So these are the things we're thinking about. You got to go every step of the way. You can't make a move. You can't approve a move or make a cut until you've tested it 3 or 4 steps down the road. I can't build this bulkhead until I build my refrigerator box and my galley frame, my bones. Now, obviously, you know the way I construct, each of the modules is a separate unit that can be moved independent of all the others. None of the modules rely on any other module for structural strength or support, but then I do tie them together when they're in place. Once we get that refrigerator box in here, as I did with the first van, we're going to double, triple up on the insulation behind it and above it. Because typically you put this side of the van towards the sun and you shade the patio side where you live, which makes sense. But in doing so, you're heating up your refrigerator. You're causing it to work a lot harder to keep the food cold because of all this heat beating on that side of the van. Now, one thing that we might not have mentioned, wherever the 80/20 is attached to the van, there's 2 concerns. First, we need a thermal break. We've got to make sure that hot or cold that's outside does not transfer in and start to work its way through all the 80/20 in here. So wherever we do put the 80/20 against the chassis, we got a rubber thermal break. The other thing we have to do is wherever these 80/20 pieces are in the van, wherever they are in the van, they need to be bonded, grounded to the chassis so that, God forbid, a short occurs, these things don't become live. So all the 80/20 components are bonded. Everything metal in the van gets bonded to the chassis for safety. I got a pair of these blankets. They're soft cotton blankets. I like the colorway. It matches the rest of the van. And you know, you always should have a couple of blankets in the van. You can use this as a soft seat cover if you want to sit down and be comfortable on a long trip. If you're in colder climates, you can wrap your body with it and stay nice and warm and toasty. Another thing you might do, if you just got off the beach, you could make yourself a quick and easy seat cover to keep you dry, keep the seats clean. So every van should have at least 2 of these nice soft blankets. Make sure you match the colors.